Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
This is the Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, October the 2nd. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and wow, October has started out absolutely gorgeous. Now, before we go too far, I want to remind you of something coming up very soon, in just a couple of weeks, October the 15th. We've got the event going on here where we've got the Weather Fest at McWane Center. This is kicking off the National Weather Association's National Conference, which will be held at the Winfrey. This event begins everything, so if you're a weather enthusiast, be sure to join us at the McWane Science Center, beginning around 10 o'clock in the morning and extending through 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and who knows what will happen after that. Well, let's go to some SkyCam imagery this morning. There's a look at Coleman. We're going to stick with the beginning of the alphabet. How about the C's? There's Coleman. There's Cheehaw. Beautiful, beautiful morning. We see the sun rising off to the left there, and as we look down the spine of the Appalachians. And then finally, a D. How about Dauphin Island? Not going to go to Decatur this time, just Dauphin Island. Beautiful sunrise over Mobile Bay. So, boy, I wish I was there. Be wonderful. Our great weather is courtesy of that closed low over Pennsylvania, and it is basically helping to keep a northwesterly flow pattern. So we had a nice northerly wind yesterday. If you were outside at all, you probably noticed that. In addition to that, of course, we have a surface high pressure centered just to the west of Chicago, and that surface high is going to be with us for much of the upcoming 7 days, and that is likely to keep us very, very cool as well as very dry for the next 7 days. Temperature-wise, we're looking at some cooler values as a result of this large closed low, plus the ridge in the west, helping to create that northwesterly flow and funnel that cold air down from Canada. And you can see a lot of values in the 30s, all that dark green extending from Kentucky up across the Great Lakes. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few spots in the normally cooler spots in central Alabama were in the 30s. Around 6 a.m. or so, 7 a.m. I think it was actually. Well, we have mostly 40s, lower 40s, although you can see that Anniston dipped down to 39, Fort Payne 37, so might even have seen a little patchy frost around. The QPF forecast pretty well tells a lot of the story. That is, there's the QPF for the next 5 days. Dry, 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 dry. Storm Prediction Center not looking for any organized severe weather for the next few days. And then in the tropics, we still have the pair of storms, Ophelia and Philippe. Ophelia doing a great job. Missed Bermuda, apparently. There's a look at Ophelia. Ophelia looking pretty good, although even yesterday the eye was even more visible than it is today. And there's the track, so it will remain a hurricane through Monday or into Monday and then become an extratropical storm after that. Now, Philippe is having trouble, and you can see that much of the convection is displaced from the center. You can see just to the left of center of your screen that little swirl in there, that's the center of Philippe, but everything is displaced. Philippe not expected to intensify beyond a tropical storm system and should be recurving on Wednesday, recurving back to the northeast. The 06Z GFS model run this morning, and we'll stick with the upper air chart mostly, and there is our closed low, and it is slowly migrating to the east. You can see that migration is very slow. It's on the coastline in the vicinity of Delaware on Monday. On Tuesday, it's just barely off of the New York City and just barely out into the Atlantic. But, you know, that's still keeping us very, very pleasant as the ridge comes over us. There's the ridge now well over us as that closed low has become an open trough, and it is now beginning to accelerate out. In the meantime, of course, the next action is off to our west, and we have a nice short wave coming out across Colorado. But we're kind of in a, as they would say, shields up, and that ridge going to keep us dry. The ridge stays with us on Thursday. But Thursday, we have an interesting forecast challenge, and that is the GFS is suggesting, as we look at the surface map, that we will have a bit of a wedge with the high positioned over Pennsylvania, New York area. We get that flow down around the eastern side of the Appalachians called the wedge or cold air damming, and we've got that. So that's a little bit of a challenge in there for us to deal with later this coming week. Ridge holds sway on Friday and again on Saturday. So, as I say, shields up. That's going to keep everything off to our west. And then by Sunday, a week from today, we're still in a pattern with that huge ridge over the eastern third of the country. And in addition to that, we have a surface high. And so everything is being displaced off to the south, so not much chance that we'll see any rain. Going out a little further into voodoo country, we do see some changes to the pattern. The ridge flattens down. We get a low over northern Mexico. That whole pattern becomes even more unstable, although it looks like we'll probably remain dry. This is on Friday the 14th. It looks like we'll remain dry then, with not much moisture to deal with. But finally, we do have a little stronger trough on the end of the period. This is around Monday the 17th, and that would definitely indicate the possibility of some rain. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. I expect James Spann to be back with the next edition first thing tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.